What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to do a kind of 2-year review on my experience running Battleborn batteries. I actually have Battleborn batteries, the same exact 100 amp hour batteries in both my camper and the boat. The camper, I've got 2 of them. They run all the battery powered items in there, and then in the boat I have 3 of them, same exact batteries that run the Motor Guide Tour Pro. So just figured, since I've had them, been using them for a couple boats now, and have some experience with them, I can kind of share with you, what my experience has been, and what the benefits have been of switching to lithium. And full disclosure, if you followed this channel at all, you know that I am actually sponsored by Battleborn batteries. So I really don't want this video. The intent of it is not to just be a Battleborn love fest and to just promote the Battleborn brand. I really just want to talk about lithium power, my experience switching to lithium batteries, and what the benefits have been switching to these batteries. I've had them for 2 years. I've had them in 2 different boats now, actually 3 different boats. I've got a boat that we use for the TV show that I co-host, Sweetwater. That's got Battleborn batteries in it, and then my Nitro Z20 last year had 3 100 amp hour Battleborns in it. So I've got a lot of experience with them so far, and I got to tell you, I know you're going to roll your eyes because, yeah, you sponsor, what else is he going to say? But they've been flawless. I mean, I haven't had any issues whatsoever with them, but we're going to get into that. We're going to be talking about what applications I've really had great success and have really seen the value of switching to a more expensive technology like lithium batteries. First off, I want to kind of give you a brief history on my experience with old lead acid batteries and AGM batteries. Before lithium really came onto the market, especially back when I was fishing in my college days, I was having nothing but trouble with regular lead acid batteries, and I'd got to the point where it was kind of a normal occurrence back then for me to have to switch out a regular lead acid battery for my trolling motor system, or even for the cranking and house battery. I was constantly going through batteries, and I think a lot of it had to do with just, number one, we're as tournament fishermen, we're using this equipment really hard, and as electronics and trolling motors progressed, that technology wasn't getting better and better with that technology, and especially living in Florida and fishing a lot of tournaments on grass lakes, you're using that trolling motor to go through some really thick grass, and that takes a lot of power and reduces the life of those traditional lead acid batteries and the AGMs. So I was constantly changing them out. I remember one year I probably changed out 8 different trolling motor batteries in my boat. I just could not keep a battery in there for longer than half or 3/4 of a season. So that was a big frustration, but it kind of became the norm for me. I was constantly just bringing spare batteries with me, or just making sure I knew where to get a replacement battery, and so I had a lot of issues. But that being said, I was also really cheap. I didn't have a budget, a big budget, and lithium power is definitely more expensive. So when I was doing the cost-benefit analysis, I was really looking more at the cost than the actual benefits in the very beginning. And so I kind of avoided lithium technology for the first few years that it was available. But then, of course, I had access to Battleborn batteries, and ended up putting them in my boats, of course, at the beginning of 2020. And then ever since, I got to tell you, the biggest thing that has been a huge improvement for me has just simply been taking that entire factor of thinking about my batteries out of the equation. I don't think about these at all anymore. In the past, I was constantly, battling having to change out those batteries, as I mentioned before. But now I put these Battleborn batteries in there and the lithium power is just so reliable, so seamless of a transition that I just don't think about them. In 2 years, I have not had the first issue at all. I take that back, actually. Though there was one time that I had the Sweetwater boat, you know, it sits in storage for the majority of the year, and I had my trolling motor plugged in still, even though it hadn't been, you know, I hadn't plugged it in to charge, and it was still drawing a little bit of a current. So it drew those batteries down. I simply had to charge them again. That was the only time that I've ever had these batteries actually get discharged, and that was just simply because it was sitting there for a month or more without being plugged in. So that's the only issue I've had in the last 2 years, and that's pretty crazy. That's I mean, that's a big deal. If anybody has had to deal with as many battery problems as I have over the years, just the fact that the worst I've seen is drawing down some batteries that have been plugged in for too long, that's pretty cool. But let's talk about some of the situations that I've seen the biggest improvements, you know, the specific fishing situations, because I can talk about like how awesome these batteries are and how much I haven't had to worry about them all day long, but really what it comes down to is how have they helped me catch more fish. And really, you know, I live on the TVA, the current generation there, especially if you're fishing below like a dam or something like that, is a big deal, having the anchor mode on that Tour Pro sitting in one spot for a long extended period of time in that current. You know, having a battery that has a lot of power and is going to last all day is really important. So that's one of the situations that I've seen lithiums really be a huge asset, because before, you know, at the end of the day with a lead acid battery in heavy current, I mean, you're going to have very little juice or any juice left to be able to keep up with that current. And so you'd have to I'd have to adjust my fishing throughout the day based on how much juice I've still got in my batteries. So that's one thing. But what really opened my eyes to the benefits of Battle-Born batteries for how I like to fish was when I went back to Florida this year. We went back to Okeechobee, and if you've been to Okeechobee, you know that it's just huge expanses of grass flats. You've got all this submerged vegetation that you're trying to get your trolling motor throughout the day. And in the past, you know, I really had until around 2 o'clock of fishing that way and trucking through those grass flats before my batteries went out. With the Battle-Borns, with the lithium power, I never ran out of juice. And the great thing is about lithium power, not only are they more you know, powerful overall and more reliable, but they also are extremely consistent as far as the power. So they've got a flat power curve, which means that going through, you know, submerged grass in the morning is you're gonna have the same amount of power in the afternoon as you did in the morning, which is a huge deal, because we all know going through grass, if you're running on like 30 or 40%, you might not be able to make headway at all. So having that 100% power has been super important for that. So anyways, those are a couple of real world situations that I've seen that consistent power be very helpful. But really, you know, to kind of wrap things up, my experience has been nothing but very positive. These batteries have worked with every charging system I've had. Last year, I think I had the NOCO Gen 4 charger that came with my Nitro Z20, and then this year I'm running the PowerPole charge system. It has worked perfectly with those. I can monitor the power. Of course, with the charge system, it's constantly getting charged throughout the day, so that adds to the overall length of power with these batteries. But last year I was not running that system and still never ever ran out of juice. And I personally have gone, I think, 2, maybe 3 days without charging these batteries by accident. So, you know, if you're looking at the cost benefit analysis of switching to lithium, Let me tell you, there's a few things that I would definitely seriously look at. The first one is, how do you fish? Are you fishing in heavy current? Are you fishing in heavily vegetated areas where you need that consistent power throughout the day? And another thing is, you know, do you want a battery to charge faster? Lithium batteries are going to charge a lot faster than traditional batteries. So, you know, I remember back in the day, I would wake up in the morning after draining those lead acid all the way down, and I'd wake up at the hotel and check my charger, and they'd still be charging. They're like half full, and I mean, that is like a dreaded situation that you don't want to happen during a tournament day. But with the lithium, they charge in, I'd say, you know, from being used fully throughout a day, you know, 4 or 5 hours, and they're perfectly charged, and most of the times it's only a couple hours. So that's another big factor. Another thing is, of course, the weight. These are 34 pounds a piece, a lot lighter than any you know, lead acid battery out there, and so you're reducing a lot of the weight. And especially with all the electronics we have nowadays, you know, bassboatelectronics.com rigged out my boat. You know, I run 5 different batteries in that boat, and if they were all lead acid batteries or AGM, man, that would be a lot of weight, and I would be really bogging down this boat. But cutting down that weight by half is a really big deal. So let's also look at cost too. Cost is probably the biggest reason why people aren't switching. I know for me it was, but if you really look at the cost versus how long you can keep these batteries, it would be an easy choice, because Battleborn, for instance, is guaranteed. It's got a warranty for 10 years, so I can use the same batteries for 10 years. That would, for me, it would mean 10 different boats. I can just take them out of one boat, put them in the new boat, and for 10 years, and it's guaranteed to work. And they're super easy to work with. You know, if you did have to get a battery exchanged under warranty, Battleborn is just one of the best companies to work with as far as that, and their warranty department, their customer service have been phenomenal to work with, and not just for somebody that you know, is sponsored by them. I've heard that from everybody that has them. The warranty, if you spread out the cost, which these are a little bit under $1,000 a piece, if you divide that by 10, it's as much, if not quite a bit cheaper than a lead acid or AGM battery that is only going to last you maybe, you know, 2 years. And most lead acid batteries have a 1-year warranty, maybe 18-month, and most AGMs maybe 2, possibly 3 years. So if you're looking at fishing, you know, for a long time and using a battery for a long extended period of time, the cost of lithium power really isn't that big of a barrier anymore if you really do the math. So anyways, that's my experience over the last 2 years. It's been very positive. I have nothing bad to say. It's just one of those things that I don't have to worry about anymore in my boat, and that makes my job a whole lot easier. So if you have any questions, please comment below. Make sure you don't be shy. You know, if you have any questions about Battleborn specifically, or just lithium power in general, or my battery system, you know, drop a comment below. So hopefully this video helps you kind of navigate the choices between, you know, a traditional battery technology and the new lithium technology. I think it's becoming more and more clear to boaters that lithium is the way to go. But anyways, hopefully this helps. Thank you very much. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. I'll see you out in the water, and make sure you keep up with me here at the Potomac this week for the MLF Pro Circuit. See you guys.